video analytics and location-based services to create groundbreaking solutions in traffic monitoring and management systems. He was one of the early partners with IBM Software Group. He joined IBM Wireless e-Business as a principal and led partnerships and sales efforts on leading-edge technology. He held a global role in wireless solutions development and worked with many top wireless carriers on large strategic alliances. Greetings, everyone. It's Friday, April 25th, 2014, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. Up to the Tech Talk, intelligent transportation solutions, as we speak with a global leader in wireless solution development and the founder of MetroTech, Christian Kotscher, longtime leading Atlanta IT technology expert specializing in the emerging market of wireless and pervasive computing. Christian was a regional director for the Atlanta region of Kforce, the result of a company he co-founded and created prior known as Conduit. As one of the early partners in the IBM Software Group, he was in a unique position to join the Wireless e-Business Group as a principal, where he led many key partnerships and sales efforts on leading-edge technology. It's all about video analytics and location-based services as Tino speaks with visionary IT entrepreneur and founder of MetroTech, a company he sees can bring his vision and passion to market to save lives, combat traffic congestion, and reduce emissions. Let's Tech Talk with Christian Kotscher. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions.
Christian, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Thanks, Tina.
So let's jump right in. Let's start out by talking a little bit about MetroTech. You guys are a great new Georgia company, and we'd love for our listeners to learn about you. So what's going on with the company?
Well, we started MetroTech a few years ago. Actually, when I came out of IBM, what became the Smarter Cities Group, determined that the thing that a smarter city needs more than smarts is data, is information. It needs to be connected. So one of the things that I've been focusing on and building the team around and had our initial deployments with is the idea of taking the sensor data that's already existed, that's already been paid for by the state and local governments, and bring them into a real-time model. And in addition to that, we have some video analytics that perform in the cloud that are able to take any video camera and turn it into a traffic sensor. So it not only allows us to bring in more data, but for a much cheaper price point and in a real-time nature. So we actually give real-time data and complete data versus what we've all kind of experienced before on handheld apps, on our GPS and in-dash navigation units, and in the signal timing, right? How many of us have ever stood at a light and sat there and nobody was coming the other side? We had to wait. Well, that's a lack of information, and that's what we seek to fix and to improve by providing better data both to the government, to the logistic companies, and to us as commuters to have a more coordinated, smarter city with better data for better decisions for a better ride.
So you guys first to market on this? This sounds like a new technology to the industry.
I look at it as we're the next generation. So there's been what we call probe-based data sets out there in the past that will take a sample set of cell phones and GPS probes that are on internet connection, and will estimate kind of what speeds are based on those limited sample sets. That's what gives you the red, yellow, green you see on those traffic apps. But I'm sure everybody is, one time or other, like I have numerous times, called BS on those and kind of driven into the red where they said it was red and they were wrong. And there's a multitude of reasons for why that is. It's a simulation of traffic information, of traffic data, but it's really very lacking, especially when you get into the urban areas. So what we seek to do is to focus on actual real-time information coming from the infrastructure that you can have giving you exact and real-time information. So we call it 4G traffic data. So you use 3G traffic, use your 3G wireless connection, when you have access to it, but when you have access to 4G, you'll use that, and that's normally in the commercial districts, the downtowns, and that's where we seek to deploy this first, where it's going to be most needed and most relevant.
And, Georgia, of course, is quite a logistics hub with logistics companies, but also the busiest airport, the port of Savannah, the trucking that goes on, the traffic. And so this makes us, I would suppose, a center for the need for this. I don't know if I would call it a center of excellence, but there's that potential. What would you say about that?
Well, I think the logistics heritage that Georgia has, going back to Terminus, coming up through the intersection of the major 20, 75, and 85 interstates, the perimeter, the busiest airport, like you mentioned. I mean, between UPS and Delta, and then you have Home Depot and Coke, we have such a basis for logistics and for that kind of supply chain underlying. My argument is that we already are somewhat becoming a trans-tech hub, which is kind of the transportation that goes on top and enables a better ride for transportation. So we've already seen a number of companies in the space. Verizon Telematics, remember, was Hughes Telematics. That was purchased a few years ago, and that was based out of here.
Right.
AT&T Mobility is based here. So, there's almost a really difficult argument to say why it wouldn't be just a natural fit. And I think the political leadership and some of the business leadership around that, if we can just get a little bit further on, I think we can really take this flag and plant it as a place that companies will come to build this trans-tech industry as hopefully another investment cluster for the Atlanta region.
So you're doing some work in about 4 states now, as I understand it. Talk a little bit about that. And also, this is a double question, but then also, if I'm a consumer listening and I'm just John Q driving from Johns Creek to Midtown, I do have that drive every day. What's in this for me? So
a lot of people ask that, if I don't use my navigation on my phone every day, if you're not an early adopter like some of us are traffic mavens, I like to call them, what use is this for me? But I point out to them that their next car that they buy will probably have an internet connection. As a matter of fact, AT&T Mobility signed an agreement that was estimated to be worth $1 billion with GM to provide an LTE, a 4G chip in every car that rolls off the assembly line in 2017. So every one of those cars is going to be connected to the internet. And what we're doing is we're providing content for that pipeline or that wireless connectivity. So if you don't become a direct subscriber to our information, you're probably going to consume it through XM radio, through your AT&T connection, through the couponing app that you're buying some restaurant coupon to go and you're reserving your table, you're reserving your parking spot, and then we're showing you the best traffic to get there. That's an entire ecosystem of this data set that will develop over the next 5 years.
So a little bit more about that, because I think I'm representing a group of people that says, okay, I use some of that, probably not at the, even though I run the Technology Association, not necessarily in the front of the pack. But so this today can tell me, all right, there's traffic here in front of you, you can shift to this lane or shift to this other street, so that it'll continuously reroute you to get you to the destination the fastest time. Is that right?
Exactly, and it's almost a twofold effect. So the first deployment that we had was for 100 IntelliSections, as we call them, as our trademark. Intelligent intersection, to us, is an IntelliSection. And an IntelliSection first knows how many cars are coming through and their speeds and all of those wonderful things to be able to optimize that signal. And that's what we've done in Silicon Valley. With those 100 IntelliSections, have eliminated over the past year of operation 18,000 unnecessary stops a day. So if you think about how much fuel savings that is, how much in time and whatnot, that's a lot of gas and braking and of our time wasted. Intel actually gave me the data when we had a meeting with them back in November that said every time a semi comes to a complete stop at a red light that was unnecessary, to get back up to speed after it turns green is a half a gallon of diesel fuel. So if you think about in terms of fuel, in terms of just time savings, what we're doing is not only giving you as a consumer better information at which intersections to avoid, the quickest route, but also where the traffic's bad. So if you have an alternative, you should use it. But the reason today you don't is because you're not sure of the real-time data. So we give you that real-time data to pick the right alternative. But then also that data goes back to the governments to be able to optimize their signal timing. And those two together, we believe, will reduce congestion by at least 50% over the next 5 to 10 years.
So speaking of congestion, we've got a new baseball stadium being built in Cobb County. That may, most people think, cause more congestion in that area. How does your new technology help with that?
Well, we've heard that has been ranked as the busiest interchange in the Southeast. And,
already before.
Already. And now we're going to add 2.5 million annual attendance, so 30,000 trips per game. I see that as a problem you're only going to fix with technology. And as a matter of fact, we're looking forward to the work with local authorities and those local units. We're already talking to a couple of the carriers who might be going in with us to suggest a pilot to go in and try to help manage that and to get ahead of it now, right? Let's do it now ahead of that so we can manage through the construction, get people used to the information we're providing and how to better use it, and then have a real mature system by the time it actually does open up. I think it's the only way that you can manage a situation like this is by giving people better information and letting them act accordingly.
So time for one more question. I might as well end on the note of Snow Jam 2014. So could we have helped with that with your technology? What can we do better the next time in terms of using technology?
Well, I think it's a bit of they've spent billions of dollars, we've spent billions of dollars as a nation and globally even more to deploy systems. And that's happened over the last 15 to 20 years, and some of those systems are old and need to be updated, and we are seeing such technology advances that, there are kind of some new ways to do things that we're trying to help bring about. We saw some of the infrastructure during Snow Jam fail, and we saw the data really not be there. What I heard in talking to some of the people in the traffic management centers and saw some of their tweets going out and some of their information that they were putting out is they really didn't know what was going on other than they looked at Google Maps and it was all red. But I, myself, it took me 2 hours to go from coming to 285. It took me another 2 hours to go down to basically the TED, the baseball stadium. And then I was stranded for another 2 hours. And when I finally got to the head of the pack, somehow, on the bottom of the hill going up 85, 75 to the airport turnoff, it was sheer ice for about a half mile to a mile going up that big, long hill. And I just kind of spun my way up it, and because you can't stop, otherwise you're stuck. But if they'd have had the information to get salt and sand to that hill, pre-sanded it, done whatever. If they had good information, they could have uncorked that entire connector going south, and that would have probably freed up a lot of people downtown. So was that a panacea? No, I think that was a difficult situation. A lot of information there, including weather information, was painfully late to get to the right people. But we just didn't have the tools to manage the data better to get people out, and I think what we're proposing is getting people more involved, getting them better information, and tying them better into those traffic management systems so we're not relying on just video cameras showing us that it's blocked, but actually giving us data and counts off those video cameras, giving us information we can act on.
Well, everybody's interested in this topic, so everyone should be interested in your company. So, Christian, thanks a lot for joining me on Tech Talk today. Thanks for being a supporter of TAG, and best of luck moving forward.
Well, Tino, thanks for everything you do. You guys have been such a great help with all the tech companies that we work with, a lot of our peers and other people trying to get things off the ground here. So I can't say enough about TAG and your efforts and your staff, so thanks for everything you do, Tino, as well.